Hello everyone and welcome to Wednesday. So first things first, I want to let you know that I am officially wearing the medal from the Wizarding Run 5K that I did last night during my running club time. And I realized yesterday when I was saying I'm not going to wear the medal, I meant that I wasn't going to wear the medal until I actually completed the 5K. It did take me an hour to complete. I don't know if I mentioned that, but I'm okay with that because I just wanted to just complete it and let myself know that I can still do it even if I have to go slow. I did manage to sprint here and there, but it wasn't for a very long time. Again, I am way out of shape for that, but slowly but surely, I will get back in shape. The great thing is that when I went to my local Runner's Depot, which is where I buy my running shoes, the lady greeted me and she was so sweet. They gave me a little light, which I'll show you in a moment. And basically, we needed the light because it was already dark. You know, it gets dark earlier now. And hopefully, as the time changes, it'll be better. But we meet at 6:30 in the store and then at 6:45 at the meeting point where we kind of do some stretches and then we go off and start our run. Now, because I'm so slow, I started with a group, but then I didn't finish with the group. But the lady was so nice because while I was almost done with my whole circle, she actually came back for me, even though everybody had already left, just to check up on me and make sure that I was okay. And it was super, super sweet. And I just want to let you know that this running club is completely free. A lot of the stores that sell running equipment for runners do offer running clubs. So if you're interested in doing that, maybe you can check with your local running store and see if they do have a running club. And next week, every second Tuesday of the month, we meet at one of the restaurants in the food court because they kind of partner with the store. And we meet there first and then we do our run. And afterwards, the restaurant gives us some goodies afterwards. So that's a lot of fun. All right, let me show you this little light that was given to us. And I just clipped it to my shirt just for safety. So this is the light right here. You just hold on the power button and then these LED lights turn on. And then there's a clip right here, so you can clip it to your shirt or to anything that you're wearing around your neck maybe. But I'm going to turn it off right now. It was really nice. So it was a free gift for joining the running club. All right, now for the highlights from today. So we continued working on our magic book for science, and we added the second section for physical weathering. And I want to show you how that looks like, along with the side for chemical weathering that is completely colored and done. I'm pretty sure most of the students are done. I will check it again tomorrow. And if needed, they can just finish it during their morning due now. All right, let's do this. So here we are again with our magic book. And here it is, all colored up. So going over what chemical weathering is. And then on the other flap to the side, we have physical weathering, what it is and how it happens, with some nice little visuals, which are part of the doodle notes that I have been introducing to the students. So with that, this little magic book is a wrap, and now the students have a really great resource to remind them all about weathering, erosion, and deposition. All right. Now, the other big highlight of the day was when I gave the students time to work on their vision boards. I had asked them to bring some magazines. I myself brought some magazines this morning so I can model and show them. I did show them a little video on YouTube of two little kids making their vision boards and ideas that they can incorporate. And I'm going to give you a pan view of the room just so that you can see. But right now, their desks, on the most part, are filled with their vision boards that they are still working on. And they'll probably finish tomorrow, if not Friday. And overall, I think they are doing a really great job putting together all these elements of what they hope that the new year will bring. So, like I said, they were having a great time just looking through all the magazines, and they shared as well, and they were cutting apart, gluing, adding things to their boards that showed more about themselves and what they hope to accomplish this year and goals that they have. Now let me show you my example so they can see. I don't know if it's 100% finished. There are still some spots that I could potentially add more things, but this is what I have. So first and foremost, I gave the students an option between using a white paper or a black paper. And this is construction paper that is 9 by 12. And these are the magazines that I brought to kind of take a look through to kind of give me some ideas. So HGTV, the Oprah magazine, Eating Well, and Better Homes and Gardens. And this is my vision board. So a lot of different things have sprung up in this vision board as I have gone through the process of putting it all together. One thing for sure, my one word for the year is at the center. So at the center of everything that I have in here, joy. So everything is powered by joy. And then we have many different things that I look forward to in the year. So live your best life, inspire, create. So we have like a craft setup here, a painting, a guitar, because I would love to learn to play the guitar this year. I have this beautiful bookshelf, so I put read. I would love to organize my living space so that it feels like an oasis. So you'd be happy to come home to a bedroom that feels like an oasis. So I put this little person there that I saw. I also want to do more of things that are good for me and are part of loving myself, which is eating better, making sure I am more active, I drink my water, and I love being more outdoors and in nature and one with nature. So I included those things. And of course, the Force is with me because I'm a big Star Wars fan, if you don't know this about me. So I'm really happy with how this vision board is looking and how it has turned out. And that's pretty much the biggest highlight of the day. The students absolutely loved the activity and just working with projects all together. So I'm very happy with that. All right, so now we're going to move us on to Thursday. Hello everyone and welcome to Thursday. So we finally made it to Friday Eve, which is one of my favorite days of the week actually. I like Thursdays. So I'm coming to you during lunchtime. This morning I have to say I felt so good because I went to sleep on time at 9:30. Why so early? Because I have a 5 a.m. wake up alarm. So I have to say I went to sleep at 9:30 and I woke up 1 minute before my alarm went off feeling super refreshed. And I have to say my son and he made it to school on time. I made it to school like around 7, which was like, whoa, that's awesome. I had such a peaceful time in the morning. I didn't get to vlog because I was just really enjoying my time. And I've been teaching math this morning with the kids. We've been going over adding and subtracting fractions. They went to art, but I kept 4 students back with me so that I can continue filming for my reading endorsement class. And today we actually did a comprehension lesson using a bird's paragraph or passage, I should say, not a paragraph, multi-paragraph, from the unit that we had finished before break on adaptations. Now, if you may recall, I couldn't do the entire recording then because I was very sick, plus it took some time. The first part of the lesson was on vocabulary. This part was on comprehension. And the next part is on fluency, but we ran out of time again today. We did the full comprehension lesson, which takes time. And now I have to do the fluency part of the lesson, which will be tomorrow during their specials. And that one shouldn't take so long because they are reading the passage and timing themselves. So yeah, they actually had a great time. We went over some really essential skills, and I'll remind you what that lesson was so that you can kind of get an idea of what we did. But we were going over main idea and details. We were using our SPADE strategy, which is something that our district uses when we are reading text. And yeah, it was a really great lesson. And now I'm warming up my food, waiting for the microwave to finish, and then I can enjoy it, and then I'll be back with the students after lunch. After lunch, we're doing science, which hopefully they'll be able to finish their magic book. They should be done. I'll just give them like 5 or 10 minutes to do the finishing touches. And we're going to take a quiz on weathering and erosion and move on from there. And yeah, so that's what we're doing. That's what we've done so far. And I can't wait to come back to you at the end of the day and tell you the other highlights for today. All right, so let me enjoy my food and I'll speak to you soon. It's now the end of the day. The students were just recently dismissed and I have about 10 minutes to get ready to leave, which is what I'm trying to do now that I'm back in school after winter break, leave by 3:30. So my contract hour is already up. It's up at 3:20. So now I'm giving myself 10 minutes to kind of get situated and get ready for dismissal for myself. So just to let you know, we had a great afternoon. The students and I started reading our Wonders Unit 3, Week 3, which is all about how one person can make a difference or lead to change. So we read about Nelson Mandela as our read aloud, and they didn't really know who Nelson Mandela was. So I used that opportunity to introduce them to him. We talked about it. We talked about author's point of view, which is the comprehension skill that we are working on with this unit. And I also showed them a vocabulary video on Nelson Mandela and a brain pop video on apartheid so that they know what that was and what happened in South Africa during that period. And that led to really great conversations. And we also went ahead and introduced the vocabulary, which took way longer than anticipated. It just led to so many conversations, and they have so many things to share that they make connections with. And then I also went into those conversations as well. So let's just say that next time we do a vocabulary introduction, I need to make it short. So we'll figure out a way to do that so that we don't spend too much time on vocabulary introduction. But then we also read the shared read. I read it to them and discussed who Judy Bonds was and how she fought for the Appalachian Mountains and the strip mining that was happening there and was polluting the area. And it just led to some really great conversations. Yeah, that's how we finished the day. And I ended the day with talking to the kids about Mae Jemison, who is... I will love to meet Mae Jemison in person one day. She is like my hero. I love her so much, and she inspires me so much. So I have a picture book on Mae Jemison. So that's how I ended the day, reading a picture book to them. We didn't finish it because the bell rang and then they left, but we'll finish it tomorrow. So let me show you that book right now. And also let me give you a glimpse again as to the lesson that I did for my reading endorsement class on comprehension. So here we go. So here's the picture book, Mae Among the Stars. Just so beautiful. And by the way, this book is by Rhoda Ahmed, so that you can find it if you're interested. And we didn't finish, but there is a line that the author repeats over and over, which is such an inspirational line. I need to use it as one of our book quotes to put around. So beautiful illustrations, as you can see. And let me get to that quote. Right here. Because if you dream it, believe in it, and work hard for it, anything is possible. So that is a beautiful quote. So I definitely recommend this book. It's such a beautiful story. And I hope that if you're interested, you can get it and read it with your students as well. As for the small group lesson that I did for my reading endorsement class, it is comprehension, expository text structure. What's the big idea? It's going over a main idea in details. So we have been reading, or we're reading this passage. Let me just get it because it's in between all these papers. Here it is. So it's the birds, and it's basically going over animal adaptations that birds have. So we went ahead and did our SPADE strategy, but S stands for survey the text. So first we surveyed the text to look at the text features. Then we did a prediction, and I had the students do a prediction on the top. This is my example. After the P in SPADE is A, which is 2 A's, analysis plus annotations. So analysis happens after the first time you read it, which I read it to them to model also fluency. And then the second read, I had students take turns reading the different paragraphs or sections. And the second read has us do annotations, which you don't see annotations here right now, but that's usually what we do with SPADE. And analysis plus annotation is close reading, and that's how we do a close reading of the text. So then we have D, which is dissect the questions, and we did dissect the questions before starting to read the text, which we circled the details and main idea, which is the skill that we're doing so that we know what we're looking for. And the E in SPADE is for evidence. So we need to provide evidence when we answer those questions. So the way this graphic organizer or this lesson works is as the students look at that text, they use this graphic organizer. They had different variations of it. So they had this one, but this one only had like 4 areas for subtopics. And I wanted more because this particular passage has 5, as you can see. So what I did first is I modeled this for the students after we read the first section, the web. And I modeled to them how we should title that subtopic and then the details. That subtopic is related to the main idea of that paragraph. And then the second one, which talked about beaks or big mouth, we decided together to do this. And so this was I do, we do, and then they do. So we did this one together, and it talked about beaks. So we got the details for beaks. And then they did the rest of it. I don't have my notes here, but they finished doing it. And then, of course, after they did that, they had an opportunity to answer the questions. And as an extension activity, they could do this organizer that I put together myself, that I've used with my students in the past, where they write the topic, which in this case will be birds, the main idea, which we decided was that birds have many adaptations that help them survive, and then they can use details from this original organizer to include here, and then of course they use all of that to write a summary. So that is the lesson for comprehension that we did for my reading competency video. Tomorrow we're using the same passage. They're just, you see these numbers, they tell you how many words are. So if you read this whole line, by the time you get to you've read 11 words. If you read this line and this line, by the time you get to others, you've read 21 words. So then on the back, the students are going to use timers to work together in pairs. They're going to do a first read, how many words they read, minus the number of errors, and that's the correct word score. And then they do a second read again to test themselves to see if they improve. So that is the fluency lesson that will go along with this, which we'll do tomorrow. So another thing that we did, I just remembered right now, after we came back for lunch, we did the science lesson where they finished their weathering, erosion, and deposition magic books, and then they took the quiz for that lesson, which they thought was simple because they learned all the information, and it was very easy for them to complete. So, yeah, so that is what we ended up doing today. And for social studies was just embedded within reading, since we were talking about all these important figures and how they have made a difference in the world through fighting for freedom, injustices, and change. All right, so that is it for our Thursday, and now we're going to move on to Friday. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Friday. So it is bright and early in the morning, and it's about time to let the kids in. I'll be sure to bring you the highlights from today, which will be a couple. We are taking a few tests this morning, and then they're going to specials. And while they're in specials, I'm going to bring back with me the 4 students that I need to film my fluency lesson for my reading competency 5. All right, so I'll probably catch up with you sometime later, maybe during lunch, if not at the end of the day. Hello again, everyone. So I'm coming to you during my planning time, and I just finished doing my fluency lesson, which was the last part of my last video for the reading competency 5. So now I have to piece all those 3 separate videos together, the vocabulary, the comprehension, and the fluency, and have it all ready to go for my teacher tomorrow. I will probably send that to her either late tonight or early in the morning, right before I get to the class, because we do have to email it to her. And what I usually do, it's on my separate YouTube account. I just upload it there. I make it into a private video and I provide the link, and that is an easier way for her to see that. And I also give her a copy, a printed copy of my lesson plan, which I'll probably show you a little later. But yeah, we had a really good fluency practice. Let me show you what that lesson was. So I have all my materials here, so let me just put the pencils to the side. These are the timers that we use. These are timers that came 6 in a pack. I got them from Amazon last year for science experiments, but of course you can also use them for reading when you're doing fluency practice, or maybe for stations and things like that. But the lesson came with this fluency fundamentals, and we reviewed all the key elements of fluency and the fluency factors with the students before they started doing the read. And I also did model the reading that they needed to do so that they knew what to do. And this is the passage, which is the same passage that we were working with yesterday. And again, these numbers show them how many words they read when they get to a certain point. When I modeled, I got to this point. Hold on. This is a student's example. Let me find my example so I can show you. So this was my example, and I stopped here at feather, and I did kind of fumble a little bit with this word, so I circled it and I self-corrected it. So I did that, and that's where I stopped. So I told the students, if I came to this line and I see this number, that means that up to here, this A, I've read 178 words. So that means I would have started counting here 179, 180, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86. So that's 186 words. And I wrote it over here minus the 1 error. So I read 185 words correctly. And then they did a second read. So they did a first read and a second read. And in all the cases, they pretty much increased their word count, which I told them that's what happens. The more they practice fluency, the better they get at it. So these are their word counts that they were logging in for each other. So they were working on partners. And this is where the lesson kind of comes from. I ended up doing this fluency practice from Wonders. but the actual lesson is this one that comes from the FCRR website. I'll remember to link it down below. And it brings these other self-evaluation readings that they can evaluate themselves based on the first reading and the second reading. So that was an option. I just didn't go with it. I just went with the one that came with the passage from Wonders. But this is pretty much the fluency lesson. It's on fluent reflections and using any text that you want to use. So now I have a few minutes before I do have to pick them up, the rest of the class from PE. I believe I have like 15 minutes, and then take them to lunch so that we can have our lunch, and after lunch we have our recess, and then hopefully Spanish. Sometimes our Spanish class gets canceled depending on coverage. So yeah, that's so far what we've been doing in the day, and they took their mid-chapter checkpoint in math. So, and we also finished reading the Mae Jemison picture book that I talked about yesterday, and I showed them a little bit about her and a show that she was a part of, which is Our Strange Rock, or That Strange Rock, one of those. It's now available on Disney Plus, which I think is great. All right, so I will catch up with you probably later on in the day. It's now the end of the day, and I just wanted to wrap up the week and let you know the students were able to take their vocabulary test, their selection test for our Wonders Unit 3, Week 3, and we also had a recess time, which was a lot of fun. I wanted to also show you my final, I believe it's my final, I don't think I'm going to do anything else, maybe a little bit more accents here and there, but my final vision board, because I did add a little bit more elements. So here is how it came out. Here it is, all full and filled as much as I could so that you can see all the different little pieces of joy and create and read and all the happiness that I hope this new year brings. So yep, I really love how it came out. I also started a new project in social studies. I divvied up chapter 4 into different groups of students, and I created some storyboards so that the students can use them as they create PowerPoints for the particular section. So let me show you kind of what I put together, and the students are really excited to get this project going. So these are the storyboards that are created. As you can see, there's a title slide and it has a chapter, and the first section is Florida's physical features, and then the students have a slide 1, then a slide 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 and 7, and they can decide how many slides they need. And then the next section was where people live in Florida, and then the same setup, and then connecting Florida's geography to its history, and finally connecting Florida's geography to its economy. And that way the students can plan out their presentation, write out the information that they need, the subtopic in that section, the details that go with that, and they know what information to include on each slide. I'm also going to let the students know about some basic important key elements to include in their presentations, which is a rule that I learned back in my master's program for technology, which is a 7-7 rule. So no more than 7 lines going down and 7 words across each line, so that you don't have too many words in a slide, only the basic information that you need in order to get your point across. So the students will be able to teach the whole class about their section, and that way we do like a jigsaw puzzle with that chapter. All right, so that's all I have for you for our first week back from winter break and all the highlights of this week. And tomorrow, I got to get up bright and early. It's the last Saturday for my Reading Endorsement 5 class, where I just turn in my video, which I have to edit tonight, and turn it in with my lesson plan, which I'll show you next week sometime because I have to go home and get that finished. So yeah, that's all I have for you for this week. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment down below, let me know what you thought or any questions you may have. And also don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. I hope you have a beautiful, magical day, and don't forget to smile. Hello dreamers, wishers, and magical thinkers. Thank you so much for making it to the very end of this video and for showing your support. If you'd like to subscribe, you can do so by clicking on my picture down here. You can also check out my latest videos here and here. Don't forget to believe in the magic that's inside you, because you are capable of great things. See you next time.